Hi folks, Pat Gage here, and on these videos we're going to cover the mastermind calls, the commercial real estate mastermind calls that we hold bi-weekly. If you want to join these calls, there's a link right below me right here, and it's also in the description. We cover topics of buying properties. We cover topics of people who have bought properties and show us our process, show us their numbers. Love to have you on these mastermind calls. So again, click on the link below and we'll see you there. Thanks much, folks.
Your commercial space, you really can start to take advantage of some of the tax benefits of real estate. I get that often. What are the benefits? But now you're entering a realm that 1031s and cost segregations, a lot of times tax credits start to make those deals attractive. And I think and more on the single family is really a stepping stone, but I think everybody tonight's looking at the commercial and multifamily / industrial. At the larger deals, there's a lot of opportunity there, and especially as you become an active investor, really developing properties / renting it or selling it. That's really where I've seen the greatest amount of wealth creation throughout my career.
Gotcha. And probably what you do, and again, you're a member of a team, right? That when you get into commercial real estate, you've got team members. It's not just, you out there doing deals. You got the CPA, you've got your attorney, your syndication attorney, if you're doing that realm. So you're part of a team. So a lot of these, let's say, bigger deals, when you run the numbers, you're like, if they give you straight numbers, you're like, how does it work? Well, a lot of times it works because of what you bring to the table as far as, like you said, the cost segregation and different tax advantages that you can get with people to make these deals work or be better. Let's put it that way, right?
Yes. I actually spoke with somebody today that was working on a deal, larger commercial properties, and some, I guess, retiring investors that own the properties / seller financing in there. And we had really discussed even structuring the deal more equity position. And with real estate, we think of, I want hard cash, I want to sell, but there's consequences. Sometimes with real estate, I've seen deals structured that exiting partner or owner may get an equity position with a preferred return and return on capital, and then be able to structure it to really taxes because they actually have not sold it. And sometimes they still maintain equity position versus a debtor creditor position. Case scenario, they're not as protected had they sold. They're really, a lot of times you've got that investor, and a lot of people in the group will see someone selling a property and it's just because they want to retire to Florida and they want their checks. How you structure that, sometimes if you can minimize that sell tax burden, your price deal is going to be able to structure differently.
That's why some of these deals that we're seeing,
the conversation today,
multifamily, when you see them selling, when you run the numbers, you're like, how does this even make sense? How are they even selling at this price, or why are they selling at this price? Maybe because some of the stuff behind the scenes that a person such as yourself, a CPA or in the tax realm, has made that kind of happen, right?
yes, and many times there may be low-income housing credits, especially on the multifamily space. There's other opportunities as you for HUD guaranteed mortgage. There's investors that some situations are just looking for tax credits or that accelerated depreciation on the multifamily. Someone comes in and they're going to pour a bunch of money into a value add play, but a lot of that in initial investment is going to qualify for immediate depreciation under a cost segregation. And the way that the tax law is written as of today, it's, I mean, a great opportunity.
Gotcha.
And still hold a piece of the future appreciation and investment of that.
So when should somebody that's investing in real estate get you involved on the team? When's a good time? Is it tax time or is it before that?
So actually, I like to get connect and usually early on and not have that relationship. And I always encourage clients, contact me, anything we can do. It's easier to structure, try to pick it up after the fact, meaning this time of the year for 2020. There's not really much to do, and we can really be able to provide a lot of value and insight into a deal that you're working with, but it's tough to structure something you did last. So I really try to encourage communication with clients. And
okay, well, that's good advice, because obviously, again, like I said earlier, you're part of the team that we do commercial real estate with and stuff. So that's awesome. And kind of a heads up, Frank and I know each other, so it's a little bit easier for us to chit chat, but I wanted to bring him on and kind of explain something. What he did is, I really want to talk about, and I'll spend the next couple of minutes here talking about this. He presented let's say a philosophy, right? Let's say a way of doing it's for developers, and what I did is I put together a slideshow here real quick to just kind of illustrate it, and I think it can work for commercial. Frank and I talked a little bit about this. We want to share this with you. And basically what it is if you, let's say you're a developer, let me do this. Let me share my screen, and then we can cover it that way. Hang on one second here. All right. Hopefully you guys and gals can see my screen. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
I can now, yes.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. What this is basically I need somebody to do all these admittings. Basically, it's developer property. So it kind of what it is, if you have a house that's on land and you are going to basically, tear down the house, right? And just level the house and then put something else in its place. This process, which another friend of ours is involved with, which is very key to this, is so if you have a house, a couple houses that you want to demolish, what we do is obviously you would contact a person such as Frank here, or a CPA. And then what we're doing, the difference we would do here is you would basically, what we're doing is we're piecing out the house. The appraiser would come in and appraise the house pieces or the building materials, and help me if I'm saying this wrong, Frank, out like I've got here on this slide here. So the appraiser would give a value to each one of these pieces, the wiring, the piping and stuff like that, the kitchens. And again, a little bit different than you would do if you're, let's say, just tearing the house down. You have to take a little bit of care, because what we're doing is we're taking these items from the house, we're putting them in a shipping container, and then we're giving that to a charity that moves it on to the next. So stuff is not going to be destroyed. So this is where it kind of gets a little bit different than if you're just tearing the house down and, you got $15 an hour guys and they're just ripping the crap out of it. So there's a little care to be taken. But Frank and he introduced this to me, and it kind of intrigued me in the fact that you could have a house. And what you're really doing, folks, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Frank, is basically you're getting money appraisal. Let's say they get appraised for all the stuff in the house. You're going to tear the house down anyway, right? You're going to take the doors off, and you get an appraisal of $12,000 or $20,000. That turns into a tax credit on your tax bill. Okay, so
It's actually a, but which then go against your taxes.
Okay, can you say that again? Can you cut out? I don't know if it was mine or.
So it's actually a charitable deduction, and then there's some appraisal requirements, but effectively that deduction will be a deduction against your taxes, resulting in a tax benefit, so less out of dollar, just clarifying a deductions in the tax realm different than a credit. So,
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Basically, and I think that the house that you're showing may not be a great example, but really houses, multifamily, I think since being able to, get creative and think out of the box, because a lot of times you're seeing a property that you're going to send in the bulldozers and scrape it down to the dirt. There may be usable, or even in the commercial and office area of renovation and materials that care can be salvaged and are used. I think we were discussing a drywall demolition. Generally, that's not going to be usable.
And
but
like your idea of the office, the office space where the dividers and stuff like that. And again, it's something that was, Frank brought to me with our other mutual friend, Mark, and it was intriguing the fact that, you're going to take this office space or industrial space and basically throw this stuff away, right? Why not get some credit for it? And then the other piece of this pie, which is our mutual friend, then you would donate it to a charity. Now we have a charity. Mark is one of our mutual friends that has this charity that is set up. He can do this in all 50 states. In fact, I probably should bring him on and explain, but he had a developer. They did this in California, and the guy knocked down 2 houses, and I think his total tax deduction, was somewhere in the range of $50,000 to $60,000 by just taking a couple extra steps of taking the materials out of the house, put him into a shipping container like we have here. Taking care with this stuff, not just tossing them into a gondola, right? Now, obviously, you as the developer, investor, would have to pay for the gondola, have to pay for a little bit more care of taking the materials out of the property. But think of the benefit on the other end if you can get a tax, let's say, deduction of, $25,000, $30,000 that you can take this year, or whatever your tax situation is. So basically this is kind of a neat way to do it. Even with smaller multifamilies, you can do it, because Frank and I talked about trying to do it on a commercial apartment building where you have you're not really taking the plumbing out, you're not taking really the wiring out. It's mostly the kitchen stuff. It really may not, we haven't proved it out yet, but it may not be, worth the cost. But again, if you're doing a total rehab, it may be worth looking into this process or this way of doing things to, help your bottom line. Is that about right, Frank? Did I capture that as well as I could have?
Yes. So I think the one example you mentioned, I want to say they probably had an extra 10,000 in cost that they incurred, but for them, it was really stuff that was going to end up in a dumpster. So yes, they incurred about 10,000 more in cost. And I think their actual donation was in excess of $300,000. So assuming,
wow, okay.
Let's just say, if you look at it just from the true return, they might have had an approximately $60,000-$70,000 tax reduction that they had to pay out of pocket. Again, for all of you on the call looking at structuring deals with partners, be a situation that your partner comes in and can utilize it on a syndication deal. Sometimes you have other investors that when split those accelerated depreciation or contributions or credits. It can be a little bit more to make the deal sweeter. And again, not necessarily going to work on every deal, but another opportunity, as I discussed earlier with the seller financing versus equity, it's out there. That's why, even back to what you were saying, Pat, about when to work with your profession, say early on, because then we can identify if there are opportunities like this that we don't pass up.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was intriguing enough. And again, like I said, we've got all the different parts in here, obviously a tax credit. And then I also did of an apartment building, and Frank and I had talked about that, where it'd probably have to be a pretty good size rehab of an apartment complex. Is obviously we're not tearing the property down, right? So drywall is not worth much, unless you have old copper wiring. But this is just a one little, let's say, process or system you could possibly use during this. But again, if you're doing multifamily or residential obviously works better, because if you're tearing the property down, obviously the lumber and the wiring, all that stuff can be appraised, and you can put it and do it that way. And the biggest thing is, one, Frank works with the charity, which is Driving Successful Lives, and they take this storage shipping container and take care of the building materials and give you a document showing that you donated it to a charity. So this is not stuff that's going to be thrown away. It's stuff that'll be used. Right now, I guess they're shipping them to a different country. So the doors, the wiring stuff is being shipped to a different country. So it's not just being thrown away, which is good, obviously, for the environment, and also good for your business plan, where you can say, hey, listen, we're using this material. Somebody in need is going to get it. So, but does anybody have any questions that we can answer fairly quickly on that? I don't want to. What I would like to do first, hang on one second before I ask that question. If you guys would put your contact information in the chat, okay, and Frank will put his in there too. Reach out to him, and then if you're interested in sitting further and talking about this, again, we have all the contacts for people to get to do this. Reach out to Frank, or you can reach out to myself, and we'll set up a conversation and see, because each one of these is going to be different. Obviously, if you're a multifamily, we got to take a look at, is it going to work for you, depending on the amount of rehab that you're going to do and the number of units, and stuff like that. So go ahead and put your contact information, everybody, into the chat, and then that's where we'll get contact with people during that, and then we'll go to our breakout rooms here. But does anybody have any quick questions about what I covered here? No questions. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's see here.
And I think this is really one of the tools in the investing arsenal of rehab and developing the deal that, again, not always going to work, but is it going to be a cost segregation or other opportunities there? And really the biggest way to be able to structure a deal that's going to work out for you and your investors, especially as you work with outside investors, making a deal that appeals to everybody.
Exactly. And again, it's just another one of those tools in the tool belt, right? That it may work or may not. If let's say that you're scraping the land anyway and putting up a multifamily, and that house is there or that building is there, and you can gather, gain, let's say, 5, 10, 50,000 new dollars in tax, and again, each person is different. So it just thing, but I wanted to share that with you and kind of give you an idea of kind of the possibilities that are out there. It's not for everyone, but at least maybe it'll be, somebody can use it in some way if you're still in the residential. We know it works on residential. We still have not given a test case of a multifamily, but we know it works on the residential side. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions before we? Okay. Frank, do you have anything else? What else would you like to hit on with this, or other tips you can give us?
Really, I think just definitely reach out. Real estate is, each deal and each piece of property is unique. That's the beauty of real estate. Even that building, the way I look at that building is going to be different than what Pat's going to do with that building. And a lot of times I've worked with people that have taken a building that one investor has either done well or bad with, and the other hits a home run the other direction. So always feel free to reach out, but definitely I think everybody's on the right track being here tonight, and really appreciate having the opportunity to talk about this.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your information too. And again, if anybody has any further questions about this, or CPA, Craig, you had something, sir?
Yeah. I have no real experience with what you guys are doing. I used to do rental properties, just small single family deals. And I'm kind of wondering what your thoughts are on the emerging sector. I guess, and it may not even be, it's just my perception is commercial property just doesn't need to be here anymore. So it would seem it would have to get converted into residential, or eventually I just can't see the commercial buildings that are here are even needed anymore. So what will they get converted to?
Are you specifically talking like office buildings or industrial? I guess which one are you talking that won't?
Well, it would seem to me that with everybody working at home, there's going to be a glut of commercial buildings.
Yeah, that's a good question. What I know that's sometimes what is happening in the market, I've heard, is like malls and stuff like that are being converted into distribution centers, which again is still a commercial. Now the office building, that's going to come back. It's probably not going to come back until about a year, 2 years from now. But there's always going to be, I think, some sense of an office space, or either more of a community space, more so than you have an office. It's like a shared desk. I see that happening a lot. I know some companies that I've known, they're trying to, get their people back, but it's more in a shared workspace, but yeah, the office spaces and obviously the retail is a little bit hurting now because obviously nobody can go out of the house, right? But retail will come back. I mean, there's some people, like cars, it's very hard to buy a car as much as we'd like to. And worked on projects where we tried to sell cars online. It's hard to do that, without, taking the test drive or seeing the car. So those will slowly come back. Office space these companies may just say, why are we spending all this money on not only, the building, the taxes, the maintenance,
I would be,
all that kind of stuff, and say, okay, we're spending, $5 million a year to have, our 3,000 people here. We've learned the productivity when people are working from home now, because they've gotten so accustomed to it hasn't really dropped that much. In fact, the teams that I manage, the productivity has gone up because people are working probably more than they would because they're at home, right? And we don't condone that, but that's what happens. So that's a good question. But I mean, as far as industrial, and retail and stuff like that, you're going to see the malls that were struggling before probably fail, but they're going to be turned into a different use, like hotels. I know some people that are actually going after hotels right now to turn them into apartments. Now, it's not every hotel, right? It's not the flat ones from the 70s that, you pull up. It's probably, so each one, or they'll just get dozed and something else will go in. So, I mean, I don't see it ever going away completely, but I mean, there's gonna, it's the wheat from the chaff, I guess, as they say, just like when, Netflix, all of a sudden Blockbuster went away and, Family Dollar, Family Video went away. That just happens, but I don't see them totally going away. But does anybody else have another opinion on that? I mean, I don't want to,
Like you say, the one thing we can always count on, and that is change.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean,
I could almost envision like the humongous office buildings that are no longer, just turn them into an actual community. But like time will tell.
Yeah.
I mean, as I look across the world, I see that's what's happened other places. That they actually built an office building to build a community.
Yeah.
Micro businesses and your apartment and your foods, whatever. You don't have to hardly leave your building.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where a lot of office spaces were, like the companies I work with are for. Yeah, a lot of them you don't need to leave for lunch because they got everything there. They got kitchens, Google has dry cleaning, everything. But that's I see that happening more too. But again, you never know. That's a great thought. Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, anybody else have any questions? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to break you guys and gals out into breakout rooms. We'll have about 3 to 4 participants per room. And this is a chance for you guys and gals to network with each other. I'm in Michigan. I know a few guys here on the call are from Michigan. Don't know where everybody else is calling from, but let me get this set up here, and we'll break it out here in a second here.
I have to leave 7:40. Is it all right if I do my Zen meditation?
Yeah, we're gonna go. I think we're gonna go. Let's say 10 minutes. 10 minutes a turn here. So if you have to leave early, and that's a great comment. Thank you, Craig. If you have to leave early, just go ahead. We're gonna do them for 10 minutes, and then we'll redo them again. We'll shuffle them around and see how you can meet some other people. All righty. All right, here we go. You'll be whisked away to your next. Okay. There you go. I think it worked, hopefully.
I'm not feeling the whisk.
You're not feeling the whisk yet. Goodness gracious. See, this is the problem with doing technology when you're supposed to be having somebody else help you. There we go.
Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir? We are only 2 people here.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. This is my first time doing this breakout room. I thought I had it nailed, but as you can tell, it doesn't go. How you doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Yeah, we are doing great. How are you, Pat?
Good, real good, real good. Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
Dallas has got some nice weather now, haven't you? Or did you get that rain that came through a few weeks ago?
Not few weeks ago, just the last week. So we had some rain, and also we had some flurries this last week, and people had some fun, because it's rare to see snowflakes in Texas, right?
That is. See, we're both in Michigan. David and I are both in Michigan, so we see.
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah. I used to have.
Of the year, I mean, it's crazy anymore. I don't know.
Right, right, right. I used to have a few friends in Lansing, near
Okay.
Detroit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Later they moved to Dallas, and one of my friend moved to California. So
Awesome. Awesome. So now, how long you been in Dallas? You've been in Dallas for quite some time.
actually, I moved to Dallas from New Jersey in 2013. I lived in New Jersey for 17 years, and here it's 6 years in Dallas, Texas. So overall 20. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So now, do you own properties? Investing in properties? What?
Yeah, I do invest in properties, and me and my friends actually owned my first property in McAllen, 44 units.
Yep.
Then in 2017 and in 2019, same group, we actually syndicated another deal, and it's 100 units in Wichita Falls, Texas.
What was
Then
the name of the city?
Wichita Falls,
Oh, okay.
yes, in Texas. Yeah, because there's
Awesome.
another Wichita in Kansas, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And also I raised, I syndicated 3 other deals with Ashcroft Capital. They are very big in multifamily.
Yep.
So
That's services. Yeah.
yeah, so I raised close to 2.5 million in 3 deals.
Wow.
So in 2019, yes, yeah.
Okay.
So so that's it so far. So what I did was during COVID, I thought maybe so the market is slowing down, slowing down. So I thought of preparing for the CCIM certificate, the commercial
Yep.
investment member. So I passed all the core exams and actually waiting for the portfolio. So hopefully this year I may get the pin.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm just saying that's impressive.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Now, so are you a broker by trade? Is that
No, no, I'm not a broker. That's what I'm having some difficulty in creating my portfolio, because most of the times the CCMs are the brokers and dealers, right? Broker dealers. So I'm actually a full-time employee in a law firm in IT industry. So when I try to submit my portfolio, they are telling me you are not a broker and all, but let me see what will happen. Maybe if I can convince them. So if I would have known before, I would not have spent a lot of money on passing all the tests. It's expensive. Each course is like $1,700, something like that.
So now,
There are 4
in
of them.
Texas, though, is it the fact that do you have to get licensed to do the syndication, or you just
No, no, no.
okay?
Yeah, it's syndication. No, actually, what happened was, even though I'm a syndicator, but I'm a co-sponsor too. I have equity in the deal too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, in Ashcroft deals, all the deals I raised capital, I'm an equity partner too. But mine is a minuscule, but still I'm an equity partner. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So now on the raise of 2.5 million, and I'm sorry, David, if you want to ask questions, please don't let me dominate the conversation here.
Oh, you're good. I mean,
Please,
these are good
please.
questions. 'Cause I'm thinking the same.
When the reason I'm asking, I want to ask you is as a capital raiser, what you don't have to be specific, but when you raise a 2.5 million, can you give me an idea of what percentage in the deal that you were? Meaning that you obviously were on the GP side. How much of that was it? 80?
Yeah, I'm on the. Yeah. So what happened was on the GP side, usually. Okay, so here is the deal. So it's a little difficult to explain the percentage that I was involved. But what happens is you get some in the upfront, okay, on the front end, front loading, and then there are 2 other opportunities when you get money back. Let us say if after a couple of years, if they refinance it, okay, you will have a percentage in that, okay, because you are equity partner. And also when they sell the property at the end of the deal, maybe it could be 3 years or it could be 5 years, whatever, how many years it takes the deal for selling. So at the end of the deal also you will get an equity, in the profit also. Yeah.
Okay.
So it will be like, what happens is some of the deals are 80-20, some of the deals are 70-30. Okay. So whatever your percentage is in the actual initial, the capital raise or something like that, then you will get. So anywhere between, let us say, yeah, I can say 2 to 10% as a GP 2 to 10%. It all depends on deal to deal, so
Gotcha.
something like that. Let us
Probably
say.
how much you're bringing in, right? Okay.
Yes, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
about normal. I've been reason I'm asking these questions is I'm looking for capital raisers. My partner and I are looking at a couple buildings where there are 100 units, areas. So I'm trying to line up some capital raisers and or partners to do this. So that's why I appreciate you sharing that with me. And then that's
Yeah,
what
sure.
that's the feeling that I'm getting. And now, did you put your contact information in the thing so I can reach
Yes.
out later?
Yes, Pat. Actually, I'm the first person who put my contact in there.
Awesome.
With
Okay.
my name, full name, email address, mobile number, phone number, and what I do. So yeah, it is there in the beginning itself. Yeah.
Great. Now, are you just in Texas?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so you're in Dallas, Texas is your market then, basically, right?
I mean, it is not only Texas area, but in the DFW area, the prices have gone up. There's a lot of competition. California and New Jersey, they are coming in, pouring in money, and they are actually overbidding. So I've got to expand my scope, to Oklahoma or North Carolinas, and so something like that. So
Okay.
slowly trying to study the other markets
How
as
do you
well.
feel how do you feel about Georgia?
Georgia is also a good one to begin with. Yes, Atlanta is doing good, and so yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. Okay. I'm gonna reach out to you. Okay.
Okay, sure.
All right. Awesome. Well, listen, we got about like a minute left here. And I don't
Okay.
all the questions. I know maybe David went on to have another go at it there. We're gonna be leaving here in about a minute. But this has been great. Thank you for joining, and we'll do this again. We're gonna go back into the main room, and we'll break out and hopefully get a different set of people to talk to. And
Yeah.
we'll get
Mm-hmm. All right, sorry about that. I got a call from my brother, basically, and I just got a letter for a lease to be returned saying he's got a $1,000 bill for exterior damage on a car that has no damage on it. So it's telling me, like, what the hell is this? So sorry about that.
No, dude, that's okay. I
No
apologize
worries.
for hogging the time.
No problem. It was nice meeting you too, by the way.
Yes, definitely nice meeting you.
You do, David.
Go back in the.
David, what do you do?
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Right, all right. All right, we're waiting for people to come back in here. Was that enough time, or did we need more time?
I have a question.
Oh, go right ahead.
Do we break out? Yeah. Do we break out into multiple rooms or just one?
Just one at a time. I put you in there with like 3 or 4 different people, and then I'm going to do it again here with 3 or 4 people as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Good question.
Yeah.
Is 10 minutes enough, or do we want to do?
Yeah, I think it's enough.
Okay. Because what we'll do is we'll do one more 10-minute.
Go
ahead.
On the, I'm on my phone, and the chats, when you send us to the breakout rooms, I lost all the contact info. Oh, never mind. Frank just took care of it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I was in another room, and I just lost my contact info too.
If everybody clicks on the chat, it should pop up, but then within the chat, you'll see the 3 dots. You can, and then actually, I just emailed it to you, so you should have it. Hope you got it, but it should pop up.
Thank you for saying that, Frank. I was just going to say that. Did everybody hear that, or was I the only one that got cut out here?
Well, I see the chat. I see an email address. Somebody on there that said he left his information on a chat, and it's just.
Well, if you open to the
Does
chat
that make
box,
sense?
click on the chat box.
Who are you looking for?
I did, and there's one person.
There's a probably
That's not who I was
little
talking
bar
to.
on the
I was looking.
right-hand side. And the last one that I see in here is Miguel.
Are you on the phone?
Are you on a,
Oh, yeah. You on a iPad?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
if he was in your local,
Bad me, huh?
if he was in your local chat room, I don't think it'll appear on the public one.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. And what I can
And I
do
didn't
is,
realize that when I was talking to him. It's okay.
Yeah, Michelle, it's always a good idea whenever you join next time. I use like a desktop, so a lot of features are
Yeah.
there, so
Yeah.
it's very helpful.
Thank you.
awesome. Okay. All right. We'll do one more 10-minute. And let me set this up, make sure we're ready to roll here for 10 minutes.
Woohoo.
All right. Hopefully we've scrambled the room, so hopefully everybody will get a room here and we'll rock and roll.
Hey, Pat, can you hear me?
Hey, hello. How you doing, Hartford?
All right, how you been doing?
Good, man. Trying to figure out this break room thing. I fancy myself as being technology, but man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, the first one I was in, I guess nobody liked my name. Nobody was in there but me. But
Oh, I'm sorry about that. This one here, I've got to learn to play around with it. So I made sure everybody was in a room before I came in. So, which is good. So how things going, man? Good?
they're going good. So we're still trying to get this building down. Actually, I was emailing the seller because our lawyer just got back to us about the contract and some things they want the seller to update, just little things.
Okay.
To make sure that, we're covered on. But hopefully we can get this going because it's been going on for a couple of months now. So, yeah, we're looking forward to getting this one
At least
down.
you're moving forward. Baby steps.
Yeah. Yep. Baby
That's
steps.
Awesome. That's awesome. So now
It all goes well.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So now you said it's just little stuff that your lawyers kind of come up with, right?
Exactly. So we sent the seller, well, I sent the seller a 6-page contract, because it's just one seller and they're like, keep it simple. He came back with a 31-page contract, a lawyer. So I said, well, I need to show this to the lawyer. So that's why I got my lawyer involved. And there's just some things that is just slightly weighted to the seller. Like if there's something there that's not right, we lose our earnest money. And she's like, no, you don't lose your earnest money if there's something already wrong with the building. Things like that, little things that I'm hoping that the seller doesn't really nitpick about, because it's only fair. But as far as the overall agreement, as far as the structure of the deal, it's still the same. So I'm hoping she's like, okay, yeah, we'll just fix these little things and we can move forward.
And get going. Well, that's good. That's awesome. Well, listen, hey, Buck, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Yeah, I don't think he can hear. I wasn't sure if he could hear me or not. I sent him
let's see.
But he hasn't responded.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we don't carry on conversation and forget that. Buck, if you're out there, you can
Right.
jump in if you want to. Well, this is good. This is the first time I was able to use the breakout rooms. I've increased my marketing, so now I'm getting more people to join, this is nice. I like being able to break out and have other people to, not that I don't like you guys, don't get me wrong, but more, because there's some people on here from Dallas, which is great.
Okay.
I just talked to a gentleman from Dallas, and he just raised $2.5 million last year. So I'm like,
Oh.
that's who I need to talk to, stuff like that. So
right.
which is nice.
How's your deal going? The one you were doing?
Both those deals are dead. The LOI ran out last Friday. What we tried to do, we had 2 properties we were trying to buy, 246 units. It was going to be $6 million raise. I just couldn't get any capital raisers to do it. So we broke one of the 120 units off, put an LOI on that. And the partnership wanted to sell them together. I'm like, come on, they're dispersing the partnership, and selling off one of them really wouldn't help them. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I mean, we had a good call with the broker. In fact, my partner's going down there to Augusta Sunday, so he'll be there Sunday to Thursday next time, and the brokers will be there showing him some other properties that are off market. So hopefully we'll get one wrestled to the ground here fairly soon. So yeah, it's just trying to get the sellers off their kilter, but it was a good learning experience. We learned a lot about the area. We still love the area. It's just a matter of getting that right property. So doing things like this is helping. Networking and seeing who I can bring on my deals. In fact, another gentleman that is in Texas I met, he raised $11 million in 72 hours. And I'm like,
well, he has serious connections.
Yes, he does. I'm like, oh, okay. So I showed him the deal. He says, if I wasn't closing, he's closing 1,000 units in March. He goes, if I wasn't closing a unit,
wow,
this looks good, I would definitely be. I'm like, oh my God. So, I mean, that's great. I mean, that's great. So that's what I'm looking for, is people like that can come in and, execute on stuff like that. Because, depending where you're going, these buildings cost, a couple, $3 million, and I don't have that change laying around the house.
Right. Yeah. I'm hoping that we get this building done by February, and then by third, fourth quarter, we'll be able to start working on a second one. I'm hoping that's the plan for this year.
That's good.
I'm doing my research on Save-A-Lots type buildings. Save-A-Lot specifically, they've been going through some restructuring, and they had some financial difficulties, and they've been closing some stores, but there's a lot of competitors like Save-A-Lot that I'm researching to see if they'll be interested in coming into the area. My theory or assumption is, I should say, is that, you get one of those stores that, in good times, you still got people coming, in bad times, you're going to have more people coming. And having that be an anchor store to other, like Boost Mobile, or, the other stores that like to go into something like a Save-A-Lot. So
okay.
That's my project after we get this one done, is to look into something like that.
Oh, that sounds good. I mean, that sounds like a viable thing, just like what Craig was talking about earlier, is, repurposing some of these things that are, existing, right? I mean, they're going to have these companies are going to have to unload some of this stuff, and if you can come up with a viable thing, why not? I mean, that's awesome. That's cool. So how many Save-A-Lots? Are they a national chain? I think I've seen them.
Oh yeah, they're a national chain. Actually, it's a whole thing called food deserts, and Save-A-Lots and companies like those focus on food deserts where, there may be a rural area where there's no grocery store for 20 miles.
Gotcha.
And they'll put in a Save-A-Lot there. And I said there's several companies like that I've been researching. And there's been some Save lots that have been closing around here because of the restructuring that they're doing.
Okay.
But that space is already there. All you gotta do is slap another name on it. You got the refrigeration and all those other things. So that's what I'm working on.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
So that's my project after I get this building done.
One step at a time, right? Well, that's cool. Hey, at least you
Right,
get the building done. I mean, that's the cool part, dude. At least you've got, you're going and getting the building done. So that's the way to do it. So we're going to lose each other here.
All right. Yeah, I'll see you on the other.
We'll get back in the other room here and
okay. I'll see you over there.
seconds. And we'll see you on the other side, buddy.
Okay. Yep.
Wow, we've only got what, 3, 5, 6, shit. All righty, everybody's returning now. Okay. Awesome, awesome. I think everybody's back. We lost a few people there. Did everybody get to a different room? Was everybody, I tried to make sure that I got everybody in a different room, hopefully. Okay. And also, before everybody leaves here, please, again, make sure your contact information is in the chat. So we can, what I'll do is I have everybody's email and I'll send the chat information out to everybody. So you have the contact information. But again, in the chat window, you click on the chat and the box pulls up. And where it says to everyone, and then it says a little file there and those 3 little dots on the far right-hand side, click on those dots and it says save the chat. And you can save the chat down to your desktop. So you don't have to worry about copying everybody's name as it scrolls by 10,000 a minute. You can do that. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Frank, thank you very much for coming on and giving us your knowledge in the CPA world there. I appreciate that very much. And thank you for that. And then we got 1 more minute here. Our next meeting will be in 2 weeks. And that is January. And I should have had this date on top of my head, but I apologize. Not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, which will be January 27th. Which
27th.
Yep. Thank you very much. Which will be our next meeting. Same format. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Please come and join us again on the 27th. And thank you very much. And we'll talk to everybody then.
Thank you for having me, Pat.
No problem, Frank. Thank you very much for coming and instilling your knowledge.
And if anybody wants to reach out, I can be contacted at reitaxcpa.com. And then next Tuesday night, I'm actually doing a Zoom meeting on there, going over more tax information for investors from single family to larger deals. If anybody's interested, feel free, reach out and go from there. But awesome. Really appreciate everyone tonight.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, when I send out the email, folks, I'll put up, Frank, I'll put your information on there. So if you can email it over to me, the link and stuff, and I'll shoot that out to everybody again, so we can get more people attending that. But yes, again, thank you very much for everybody joining, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye now, guys.
Bye.
All right. See you later.